Hello and welcome to video number 10. That's right. What we're doing is this is a series of videos explaining my creative concepts, which can involve novels, graphic novels, movies, television series, card games, board games, video games, comic books, any of the above. And right now we're on number 10. Hopefully you just watched number 9, which was covering how pigs lost their wings. And this is number 10, Jimmy. Now Jimmy has been a labor of love. Let me switch over to there. Jimmy has been a labor of love. I don't have a lot on here really, but I'm going to have to describe it to you. It's I think once I talk about it a little bit, you'll kind of dig it and kind of appreciate where it's coming from. The tag: a young brother and sister wake to their house on fire, only to find their parents already consumed by the fire. Take that. That's not how it begins. That's not how it begins. They found their parents dead. They find their parents dead, not on fire. That's horrible. But their parents are dead. And Jimmy, there's Jimmy and Margaret. Jimmy is about 12, 13, and Margaret is 16, 17, and they're brother and sister. And Jimmy has a dream that he uses his psychic powers to kill his parents. And then he wakes up like, oh, it was the nightmare. I was just dreaming. And Margaret, his sister, runs in the room. What's going on? I just dreamed that I killed Mom and Dad. And what? You just what? Yeah, I just dreamt that that I used my powers to kill Mom and Dad. Are they okay? Well, let's go take a look. So they get up, they go look, finds out there's a huge rock next to a rock, I know, right? Or something else, maybe a lamp that's broken or something next to the parents, and both of their heads have been crushed in. So he's like, oh man, I did this to my parents. I killed my parents. And Margaret's like, okay, now I've been instructed to do in case they ever died a suspicious death. Now Margaret has been trained since day one on how to handle the life of secret agents. However, Jimmy has not been, on purpose. Jimmy's parents did not want to raise Jimmy to grow up to use his powers to work for the OSS, straight up, and they didn't even want the OSS to know that Jimmy was alive. Well, of course, there's some things going on there where they knew Jimmy was alive, and they want Margaret and Jimmy. Basically, what happened is the parents stopped being secret agents. And they were psychic, and not psychic. They had psionic powers, and with their psionics, they totally, were like secret agents, covert agents years ago, and did a bunch of spy work. Well, they got domestic, had some kids, and Diet Pepsi, always Diet Pepsi. And they had some kids and settled down, so on and so forth. And Margaret has been instructed what to do, and what she does is she grabs Jimmy, she gets in one of the certain cars the parents have, and it's an old car. It doesn't have a computer in it, it doesn't have anything like that. It's an old like classic or something that they own that the dad used to work on as a hobby that no one really knew about, as far as the OSS and his overseers and stuff like that. So Margaret burns everything because her powers. She's a pyrokinetic. Jimmy's a telepath and a telekinetic. And telepath, right? As a telepath and he has telepathic powers and telekinetic powers. So he can read mind. He doesn't know he can read minds until later. He starts to figure it out, and the powers begin to start up and really grow. but he can move things with his mind. Basically, he can move things. Margaret can start fires. She can bend fire. She can move fire, and she's been good at this because she's been training at it since she was a young girl. So she basically just starts burning everything down to the ground. They hop in the jalopy or whatever it is, and something fast, and they take off. And basically, what they're doing is she was given instruction by her parents beforehand to go across country, and they're like in Rhode Island or something like that, to go across country undetected by anybody, and undetected, and maybe it's an old Cadillac. That would be good. A big old huge honking Cadillac. The big 4-door massive giants. And so basically she takes off to do that. They have car trouble. They end up popping on a train. They end up taking the bus for a little while, and they're not really leaving a path of invisibility, as it were. But she's doing the best she can with her brother, and they run into different people, and they have other people join them on their journey, and it's kind of like an adventure, and they have adventures, and they're going to see their uncle in sunny Southern California. He's a surfer and a beach bum, and they are going to go live with him. He's totally off the map. He was approached many times consistently by the government to be a spy and to work for the government because he's a part of the family. But he always refused, never took the job, and in order to get lost and to not be found, he became a beach bum, basically. So they're going out to Southern California from Rhode Island in this huge Cadillac to find him. Well, they have all these different problems, and they finally get there. Turns out he's a hydrokinetic. He can use water. He can make water appear out of the thin air. Of course, it dries everything up, but he can make it happen. He can bend water. He can move water. He can create water from just the molecules around him, stuff like that. And so he's totally cool. He's a competitive surfer, which of course he has a total edge. And he's relatively famous in the surfing world. He doesn't always win because he doesn't want national attention, but he definitely wins. He's definitely the big kahuna in that area. So, anyways, Uncle Jimmy and Margaret's uncle, they meet up with Uncle Max out on the West Coast somewhere. Let's see. Jimmy wakes in his dream where his telepathic powers kills his parents. Waking up abruptly from his nightmare, he runs into his parents' room only to find them dead. He screams. Sister comes out, and he's taking responsibility. His sister sobers him up and came quickly with a plan. Having pyrokinesis, his old sister, boom, Jimmy's broken up, understands when we watch over the jet-setting parents. We're out of town. Leaning on each other, they decide to go see if the only living relative they know, their Uncle Max, is out on the West Coast somewhere. They think L.A., but they don't know. On their journey, we learn that one of their new friends is leaking to his pursuers as to their locations. This is somebody who was watching the house, and he follows them, and at some point he takes on the role of a hobo, although he's not. He's a trained agent, and befriends them and lets the government know everything that these kids are doing and everywhere they're going. They find that out. They end up destroying him. Really, and it's like starts off like almost like at a teen level, like maybe a G rating, but the closer they get to Los Angeles, the closer the rating goes up. And this is a comic series, by the way, or a large graphic novel, and basically they end up fighting this team of OSS people with Uncle Max, Jimmy, and Margaret, and they end up doing some really violent things, and then all three of them have to go, and they decide to go up to Canada. And that's the end of the series. Is them traveling north on a train from Los Angeles to Canada. And and of course everybody who betrays them gets totally destroyed. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention about the series is that Margaret, the first Margaret, Jimmy's and Margaret's grandmother, Uncle Max's mother, is in fact the leader of the spy agency that is pursuing them. So she has an emotional investment there, and she ends up missing at the very end. She doesn't. They don't find her body, but she ends up being missing at the end. And she's kind of a rogue. She's kind of doing a rogue thing anyway, and not government sanctioned pursuit. So we find all that out in the end. And so that's it. That's Jimmy. And I love Jimmy. I love that story, and that story has been around in my mind for a long time, since the 90s. And I never had a conclusion to it. I never had a way for the story to end until recently, and so that's kind of why I haven't done anything about it. So anyways, okay, this is video number 10. Next, coming up is video number... Come on, look at me, camera. Silly camera's got a mind of its own. Video number 11, which is John and Jane Doe Interview Hollywood. So I'll probably lump that one with Ma and Pa Eat New York. And then on number 12, we'll talk about Journey's End. So this is number 10. After you're done watching this, if you've got the time and the opportunity, go ahead and watch video number 11. And we'll talk about John and Jane Doe Interview Hollywood and Ma and Pa Eat New York.